Huge developments in Washington. Congress is moving to end the longest U.S. federal government shutdown in history.
But then there are key issues which remain unresolved, which includes food aid for millions and aviation disruptions, which is ahead of Thanksgiving holiday, and an unexpected provision tied to a political investigation. The United States House of Representatives returned to Washington after a 42-day break, with lawmakers voting on a compromise deal aimed at reopening the federal government. The bill would restore funding until January 30th, 2026, putting off the next showdown, but adding to the U.S. federal debt, now about $38 trillion.
And congratulations to you and to John and to everybody on a very big victory. We're opening up our country. Should have never been closed. Should have never been closed.
The deal also ensures that the food assistance program known as Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, will remain funded until September 30th, 2026.
We don't like being pawns. We don't like, and this is including myself, we don't like to be called the swamp or to be used in anyone's political games, no matter what side you're on. Because I want people to know how much the federal government impacts lives. We impact so many lives, but you just don't see it. It's like unsung heroes.
The Supreme Court of the United States extended a pause on a lower court order that would have forced the Trump administration to immediately restore full funding for SNAP, affecting roughly 42 million low-income Americans. Specifically, about $4 billion of SNAP benefits remain on hold while the legal fight continues. And this pause is set to expire on Thursday, heightening pressure on Congress to act swiftly.
I've been living in my car as a federal worker for 3 years here in the D.C. area. At least having food security is one of the main lifelines that I have and that I can still count on, from the wonderful generosities of the charities here in the capital area.
On the economic front, the shutdown's ripple effects are hitting the aviation sector pretty hard. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, has mandated flight cuts at 40 major airports following a surge in cancellations. Over 8,000 flights were cancelled in the last 4 days, and on top of 4,000 earlier in the shutdown. A growth in bookings for the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday has slowed to just about 1%, which is down sharply from expectations. Analysts estimate the cuts may cost airlines around $10 million per day, and if these conditions persist until Thanksgiving, losses could climb to $45 million per day, excluding lost revenue from travelers who cancel altogether.
So if the government doesn't open, if the House doesn't do its job, I've had questions about what happens for Thanksgiving. There's a lot of Thanksgiving travel. What's going to happen during that time frame? I'm going to tell you we are not going to get to Thanksgiving. You're going to see this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Big disruption thus far, massively more disruption as we come into the weekend if the government doesn't open. It is going to radically slow down.
There's a surprising twist in the funding deal. A controversial clause tucked into the bill to end the U.S. government shutdown is sparking outrage. The legislation now advancing through Congress grants 8 Republican senators whose phone records were ordered to testify in the January 6th United States Capitol attack investigation the right to sue the U.S. Department of Justice for up to $500,000 each, plus legal fee per violation of the newly defined rule. Democrats call it a cash bonus for political allies.
And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from New York. Listen in.
Will lawmakers finally reopen the government? Well, there seems to be optimism after bipartisan votes in the Senate advanced a funding bill. The measure would restore key services like food aid, as well as federal worker pay, though it leaves out the Democrats' key demand, which was extended health subsidies, the main culprit of the current shutdown. Meanwhile, the FAA has already ordered a reduction in U.S. flights, and officials caution that a prolonged gridlock could cause widespread cancellations, even more than we see right now. A reminder of the growing costs of political stalemate. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World this One.